Hello, Amsterdam. I got here then. At last, long last. And I'd like to thank my volunteer legal team for their persistence. Persistence is resistance. You don't give up, for making this possible. Because I was banned by the government, actually two different governments now, both of them that have freedom in their name, ironically, for 4 years in total, and then whatever happens after that. But I was also banned by the mayor of Amsterdam from even speaking on a screen. But the fact that I'm doing so now is proof that they've had to relent and admit they were wrong. And I've been asked to speak about peace. And it's worth asking the question then, what is peace? Well, some definitions say it's the absence of war. Some say it's in the same way, the absence of conflict. But what it's not is the absence of disagreement. Peace is not about everyone agreeing with everyone else, like little clones of the mind. It's having your unique expression, your unique view of life and yourself, and being given, well, no, not given. This is not something that's given. Being in your unique, infinite self, having the right to express your uniqueness of view. And when I was targeted for banning, seems a long time ago now, you had the ultra-Zionist city who started it, but then along comes the so-called left in their various forms, saying, yeah, ban him, ban him. Well, there is a right, as I say, to have a uniqueness of view about the world and yourself and reality. What there is not in a world that pays anything like lip service to freedom is the right to stop others who have a different view to you having the ability to express that. In other words, freedom of speech and freedom of thought, freedom of opinion, is the absolute basis of any free and any peaceful society. Because once you start to say, my view is acceptable, but your view is not, the conflict starts and you have the absence of peace. So we apparently, I don't know who counts them, but we apparently have about 8 billion people in the world. And billions of them will have their own unique view of life, the universe, and everything. And so peace is not about the absence of disagreement, but it is about the right of everyone to have their own free opinion. And you know, it's become ever more obvious to me the way that the so-called right and the so-called left have been played off against each other ever more blatantly to create this essential element to the few controlling the many, and that's divide and rule. set your target population at war with itself, and while they're fighting each other, cussing each other, condemning each other, you, the few, can go about your business of manipulation and centralization of power to dystopia, unchallenged and even unidentified. And if I have one thing to get across today, it is this. I don't care if you are left, I don't care if you are right, I don't care if you're somewhere in between. You are in the gun sights of the same force that is playing everyone off against each other to create this divide and rule. And so, you have the left, I'm left, I am, and you have the right, I'm right, I am. In every way, I'm right. And if we just see it like that, then what happens? We have the absence of peace. Bang, 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 bang. But if we will just go one step higher or back into the shadows, whatever metaphor you want to use, you'll find the force that I call the global cult, this network of global secret societies with an interlocking leadership that is working through both left and right and playing them off against each other. And we have a magnificent example to prove the point currently. In America, we have Trump, and he is the right. And what is he doing? He's destroying freedom of speech. He's putting troops on the streets of cities. And he's increasingly creating a dictatorship. A dictatorship which includes, by the way, people who arrive in America having their social media scanned to see if they are against Trump or against Vance and these other people. And if they are, then they're out the country. We're having people who are challenging the genocide in Gaza, who are being targeted and arrested for the right to have an opinion. Okay, but they're the right, Trump's the right, oh, it's the right. Oh, really? Well, in the UK, we have a government under Keir Starmer that is called the left. And what is he doing? Exactly the same, in the sense that we have thousands and thousands of people now who have been arrested for social media posts, their opinion. We're now facing the introduction of digital ID, fundamental to the AI digital dystopia control system that is playing out globally. In other words, the left and the right are wings on the same bird flying in the same direction. They just don't realize, because I'm right, I am, or I'm left, I am. And so, if we are going to get this thing called peace, we have first fundamentally, essentially, got to understand that whatever your position politically, religiously, you're being played by the same violin. And when we stop, take a breath, and just realize that we're being played off against each other so that we can all be enslaved, then maybe, just maybe, we can put down the fault lines of divide and rule. We can agree to disagree and let the conflict between us stop. Because, you know, if we carry on as we are going to end up in a dystopia not too far from now, an AI digital dystopia never seen in known human history. And when we're sitting in that dystopia, what we can do, oh, it'd be great, is what we can do is have all the time we need, those that survive, to argue over who has the best religion, who has the best politics. It won't matter, but we can argue. Or we can put that aside and realize that this force in the shadows has us all in its sights, in its plan for total human control. Not just of speech, but through AI human fusion of thought itself, perception itself. So, if we want peace, my God, how long ago did I first say this? If we want peace, we must be peaceful. We must respect someone else's view and someone else's right to have that view. We may not agree with it. Call the police out. Someone I disagree with over here. Shut them up. Or we can enter. We can pass through that perceptual puberty and enter maturity and adulthood and say, I may not agree with you, but I'll fight for the death, to the death, for your right to say it. That is a fundamental step to how we overcome what we're currently facing. And if we don't, then what that cult wants, total global control, will happen. It's still in our hands, and we now have a choice to make. Go on like we have. Shut him up. No, shut him up. Or we can come together and focus on the threat to all our freedoms. And if we do that, then the few can no longer control the many. Just a choice, and now, well past the now, here's the time to make it.